so far so good for the Tigers in this series, winning Friday night, winning last night, and really starting to put some heat on Paul Konerko and the Chicago White Sox, who have been the leaders in the American League Central in recent weeks. But here come Miguel Cabrera and the Tigers. They're hot, and they're just a single game back. Here's how they've done it this weekend. An early 2-run home run for Cabrera on Friday night. The Tigers lead. The White Sox tie it at 4, but then Delmon Young, with possibly the biggest hit of the season so far for the Tigers, a bases-clearing double, and Detroit goes on to win 7-4. Last night, Brennan Boesch with a third-inning RBI triple to right center field. Detroit takes a 1-0 lead. Max Scherzer wins his 5th consecutive start. Papa Grande, Jose Valverde, gets the last out of the night of the Tigers win 5-1 to make it 2 in a row over the White Sox right now. What does it mean in the standings? It means Detroit is just a single game back of Chicago, a win tonight and a sweep, and we will have a tie atop the American League Central. Hi, everybody. Dan Schulman, Terry Francona, and sitting in for Oral Hershiser. Happy to have John Kruk with us tonight here at Comerica Park in Detroit. Back in the spring, Tito, I think just about everybody thought the Tigers would win the division, maybe run away with the division. Here they are, a game back of the White Sox. The two teams have traveled very different paths this year.
Yeah, I think it's interesting when the perspective of both teams. It's almost like the White Sox are playing with house money. Nobody thought they'd be where they are right now. And on the other side, with the Tigers, everybody views them as all in with the money they gave Prince Fielder. But when you speak to Jim Leyland, he says adamantly is all he wanted was his team to play meaningful games in September, and they're certainly there.
And they've got the right guy on the mound to pitch a meaningful game for them, Crucky, but then again, so do the White Sox.
Yeah, the White Sox. To me, this is the biggest start of Chris Sale's young career. Yes, this is the first season he's ever started in the big leagues, but this is the one, if you want to be defined as an ace, you have to step up and give your team a chance to win this game. He has the stuff to do it. He has the numbers to back it up. Can he go out in September and win this game? And then Justin Verlander, he is the ace. He is the number one guy, probably the best pitcher in baseball. This is a game that he has to win. He wants to get this sweep. He wants to get this team tied for first place going the rest of the way of the season. I think Justin Verlander tonight is going to throw a gem.
One guy Verlander won't be facing tonight, the major league leader in home runs, Adam Dunn, out with a mild oblique injury. Down to the field, standing by with a Buster Olney.
Adam, you were out of the lineup on Saturday, out of the lineup tonight. How long are you going to be out of the lineup?
I don't think too much longer. It feels a lot better today. And, I told Robin I'll be available to pinch run if he needs me.
Now, you guys face Justin Verlander tonight. What advice are you going to give to teammates?
Well, obviously, you better get him early because if he's going to go 6 innings, and he only gets stronger as the game goes on. So hopefully, he can get on and run on him because I know he's slow to the plate.
Adam, thanks. Dan, back to you.
All right, Buster, thank you. Miguel Cabrera, Prince Fielder, maybe the best duo in baseball, will take their hacks at Chris Sale tonight. Justin Verlander on the mound, making his way in for the bullpen for the Tigers. Sunday Night Baseball coming up.
everyone is lucky enough to have the luxury of one of those sweet rides. Kind you only take out once a week. The kind that draws envious stares as it cruises by. Looks smooth and handles mean. And when you hit the gas, see ya. If any town can appreciate a ride like that, this is it.
And to a huge ovation, the reigning Cy Young Award and MVP from last year, Justin Verlander makes his way out of the mound for Sunday Night Baseball here on ESPN2 tonight. Young Tiger fans wanted each position. Imagine being the lucky young fan who got to go to the mound and meet Justin Verlander before the game. Now he's going to lock in and try to lead the Tigers to a sweep and into a first-place tie in the American League Central. And Tito, we are looking at one of the best.
We may be looking at the very best. He's got all 4 pitches: fastball, curveball, slider, changeup. Every one of them is at the top of the elite of the league. He competes, and the one thing that's really interesting is he starts out throwing in the low 90s. And then later in the game, he's his own relief pitcher. He ramps it up himself, and sometimes even hits triple digits.
There aren't many pitchers and there aren't many ballparks where it feels like you're at a rock concert when they take the mound. But Justin Verlander taking the mound here in Detroit has that distinct feel to it, especially with as much on the line as there is tonight. Let's take a look now at the starting lineup for the visiting White Sox, presented by Taco Bell. Paul Konerko in the top 10 in the American League in batting, hitting .309. Alex Rios is the only major leaguer this year with 20 or more homers, 20 or more steals, and 30 or more doubles, and a career-high 24 home runs for the veteran A.J. Pierzynski, who is DHing tonight with Tyler Flowers getting the start behind the plate. The White Sox have lost 5 of their last 6. Their lead in the American League Central is down to a single game as we move into September, with a 4-game series remaining between these two teams next week in Chicago. No Adam Dunn tonight, out with the oblique injury. Expected to be a short-term thing. Miguel Cabrera playing through the ankle injury, as Robin Ventura and the White Sox hope to avoid the sweep. And as we heard a little bit earlier, Jim Leland says all he hopes for his team is to be playing meaningful baseball in September. And Crucky, we got a meaningful game here tonight.
Very meaningful, and what a matchup. We couldn't ask for anything more to do this Sunday night game with Chris Sale and Justin Verlander. Yeah, you're going to see power from both guys, but you're also going to see 2 guys who know how to pitch.
Adrian Johnson is our home plate umpire, and we are underway in Detroit. Verlander misses low for ball 1. Facing Alejandro Diaz, just activated from the DL for this game. Missed a couple of weeks with a rib cage injury, and he has been a valuable performer in the leadoff spot for the White Sox. Lifts a high fly ball to right field. The rookie Garcia's back, and it's gone. Diaz returns from the DL and takes Verlander deep to begin the game.
And you're seeing replay. We talked about Justin Verlander just trying to get his rhythm early in the game through a 90-mile-an-hour fastball that just caught way too much of the plate. And all of a sudden it's 1-0.
Now Kevin Youkilis is the batter as he takes down low ball 1. The White Sox getting the early jump in this big game, up 1-0 on the home run by Diaz, his 7th of the season. Verlander coming off a start against Kansas City on Tuesday in which he gave up 8 earned runs. 3 of the runs scored in the first, 4 more in the second. Although in the second it was a bunch of bloop hits and ground ball base hits, but still the line was not pretty for Verlander. And if you're as fierce a competitor, Crucky, is a guy like Justin Verlander, you can't wait for 5 days later to get back out there, and the first guy takes him deep.
Yeah, and I'm sure he's probably thinking to himself, look, what's going on here? But you see he's starting to tighten it up a little bit here with Youkilis. Got behind 2-0, but 92, now 93. Pitched in a little bit to Youkilis, and yeah, I don't think Verlander's going to give up many more.
Breaking ball for a strike, 2-2.
And that That's part of what makes him so good also. He get the hitter's count, and he can pitch backwards. He can throw a breaking ball. I mean, both of us about fell off our seats.
Youkilis checks the swing. I know ex-players always, you still want to be down there. You miss the competition. But with these two guys tonight, you two seem pretty happy to be up here tonight.
Not today.
Yeah.
It's a comfortable over up here.
Youkilis comes into this at bat 0 for his last 16, hitting .240 as a member of the White Sox. And it'll be strike 3. Actually, a foul tip into the mitt there. One way or the other, Youkilis was going to be out.
Well, that's just a guy who's just not seeing the ball well, or he's looking for something else. But I don't know how you can guess against Justin Verlander, but I mean, that's a fastball right down the middle that Youkilis is way behind. You think he's looking for breaking ball, changeup, or something. Foul tips it into the catcher's glove.
Now Dwayne Wise, the left fielder, first pitch swinging and drops one down the left field line just fair and is into second base with a double. Wise, who had been playing center field for the White Sox with Diaza on the DL, gets a start in left field tonight and bloops one down the line. Let's check out the defense for the Tigers behind Verlander tonight. A plus defender, and the best defender the Tigers have, Austin Jackson, anchors the outfield and center. Miguel Cabrera playing on a bad right ankle, a swollen right ankle. He's at third base. And Gerald Laird gets the start behind the plate tonight. Alex Avila not on the starting lineup for the Tigers this evening.
And the one thing Verlander's going to have to do now is keep an eye on Wise at second. With one out and his speed, they're going to have to pay attention to him.
The batter is Paul Konerko.
And I think you're going to see a different repertoire from Verlander right now at the runner in scoring position. He's not going to just throw a 90, 92 mile-an-hour fastball down the middle and try to get an easy out. He's going to have to work against Konerko.
These two have been facing each other for years. Verlander holds the upper hand. Konerko 8 for 52, a 154 career batting average against Justin Verlander.
And you're already seeing the fastball inch up, 92, 93, 94.
Konerko pops it foul, back out of play, 2-1. Crucky, earlier you said Konerko's the key for the White Sox in the last month. Why him?
Well, he's been struggling, and they feed off of him. When he's going good, that's when they're scoring runs. They've been struggling to score runs, losing 5 of their last 6. Yeah, to me, if you're going to win in September, your veteran, your superstar is the one who's going to have to carry you, and that's Paul Konerko. They said he's been working extra on trying to hit the ball the other way more. Verlander's a good guy. If you want to go the other way, the option is there.
2-1 on the way, and a fastball at 95 in for a strike.
You can tell by Konerko taking a fastball there and Youkilis check swinging on the fastball that they obviously have a game plan that's sitting on something softer. And early on, that's not what they're getting.
Yeah, and the game plan was 2-0 with a fastball that Konerko missed. Now it's a 2-1, and you're still battling.
2-2. Look at the sharp breaking ball, and Konerko goes around for out number 2.
How many times have you hit and you've been behind the fastball and ahead of the breaking ball?
Well, it's one reason I'm up in the booth. The other reason I don't have any air. Yeah, a lot. Too much. That's a bad feeling.
That strikeout is number 200 on the season for Justin Verlander. He is 4 behind his teammate Max Scherzer for the American League lead. Scherzer took the lead last night, and Verlander might get it back here tonight.
How many more does he need?
4 behind, 4 to tie, 5 to take the lead. You're taking the over?
He might get it in the third.
Alex Rios, the batter. Scherzer struck out 9 last night, picking up his 15th win of the season. He's got 204 strikeouts. Verlander's got 200. Rios having a big year, a real bounce back season. One of the many veteran White Sox who are performing much better this year than they did last year. Adam Dunn not in the lineup tonight, but having a much better season, only hitting around 200, but 38 homers, had 11 last year. And Jake Peavy's been healthy through the whole season and will wind up pitching more than 200 innings.
You know, when you go into a spring training with a lot of questions, a lot of times some of the questions are no. And it seems like for the White Sox, most of the answers have been yes.
Oh. Again, the 2-0 slider.
And Jake Peavy's been pretty much the coach for Chris Sale, helping him out a lot, teaching him how to compete in the big leagues. You know, Terry, you know that when your first couple years, you don't know what you're doing up here, and you need veteran guys to step in and help you out. And Peavy's been a great mentor to Chris Sale.
You're right. When you get the right ones, it means a lot.
Chop toward third, but foul, 2-2.
And you think about what Jake Peavy's been through. I mean, his career was almost ended by that tear in his lat muscle, and he's bounced back and he's having a great year. He's going to be over 200 innings, and if you can't learn from a guy that's been one of the best in the game to a guy who might have been out of the game and now he's back, who can you learn from?
Like a coach in the dugout here in the first inning. Huh?
I like that.
Yeah.
He's engaged.
Yeah.
So
full count.
So many starting pitchers, when they're not pitching, they have no idea what's going on with the game when the game is actually being played. Jake Peavy's, though, he's working it in the dugout with these young players, and that's invaluable to Robin Ventura and his staff.
Three strikeouts in the inning for Justin Verlander. But the leadoff hitter tonight, Alejandro Diaza, touched him up for a home run. Picking a ball into the stands to the right through half an inning in Detroit. The White Sox have an early 1-0 lead. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball is presented by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Mas. And in part by MasterCard. Explore what World Elite MasterCard can do for you at mastercard.com/World Elite. Back at Comerica Park in Detroit, Dan Schulman, Terry Francona, John Kruk, Buster Olney. Sunday Night Baseball here on ESPN2. The Tigers looking for the sweep in a first-place tie in the American League Central. And the Tiger lineup tonight presented by Taco Bell. Two of the most feared hitters in baseball. Miguel Cabrera leading the American League in OPS. Prince Fielder leading the majors in on-base percentage. Second major league start for right fielder Avisail Garcia. Chris Sale, 15-game winner, is on the mound for the Chicago White Sox. The slender 6'6", 180-pound 23-year-old. In his first year in the big leagues as a starter, he was a reliever all of last year. First round pick back in 2010. And he has been sensational. Crucky, what makes him so nasty?
Well, the fact that he steps towards first base, he's a three-quarter to sidearm pitcher, and he has great movement, not only on his fastball, but the changeup is what the White Sox, other starting pitchers rave about, his changeup and that big slurve.
That was the changeup right there, but he missed outside with it. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I mean, you're not talking about just good stuff. There's deception and really good stuff.
Breaking ball away.
And that's the slurve they're talking about, and it's a wipeout slurve. It's big. He can throw for strikes, and he can put hitters away with it.
And that's the one, the Wednesday start against the Yankees when he pitched so well. He had that going down and into the right-handed hitters. He's keeping it out over the plate in this one so far.
Fastball at 90. At times this year he has touched 95. More recently he's been more consistently around 91, 92 with his fastball.
And like Terry said, though, his deception, that is irrelevant if it's 95 or 92.
Missed inside, and Austin Jackson draws the leadoff walk. Defensively behind Sale tonight, as you've already seen, Diaz is off the DL. He's hit a home run, and he's starting in center field. On the infield, Alexi Ramirez doesn't get a whole lot of attention, but he's been a very steady performer for the White Sox offensively and defensively this year. Tyler Flowers getting the start behind the plate with A.J. Pierzynski DHing. Here's Omar Infante, the second baseman, picked up from the Marlins in July, along with Anibal Sanchez, the starting pitcher.
And Chris Sale's going to have to do a good job of keeping Austin Jackson close, because he's a threat to run at any time. He's got the green light all the time.
And he slide stepped right there just to make sure he couldn't go.
A ball and a strike on Infante.
And in his last start, he talked about how he was rushing through his delivery. This is probably the worst thing that could happen, is you get a fast runner on your first at bat and you're slide stepping to try to keep him there, and then you start rushing already. It's amazing how base runners can disrupt the game.
Sale struggled with his command in his start Tuesday against Baltimore. Went 4 innings, walked 3, gave up 4 runs in his stint against the Orioles. There's a fly ball down the right field line. Rios tracking over near the line to make the catch, 1 down.
Well, this is what we talked about, his deception. I mean, look how his head drops down. He's stepping toward first. He's throwing it basically out of the second baseman's uniform. Tough to pick up for any hitter. Can't imagine what a lefty sees in that. That's got to start behind you.
And how much tougher is it because he's 6'6" instead of 6'1" or 6'2"? Does that make a big difference?
Oh, it absolutely does, because his arm's a lot longer than a guy that's 6'1", so he's gonna reach a little bit further toward first base.
What a matchup this is. Miguel Cabrera and Chris Sale.
It's a mismatch for Sale. And I can say that about any pitcher in baseball. It's a mismatch for him. This guy's, if he's not the best, there's not many. There's only 1 or 2 better. And I can't think of them right now.
Doing a lot of damage in a ballpark that's not the easiest to hit in as well.
And it'll be interesting to see how they approach Cabrera, because Miguel is not only talented, but he's smart. And as the game progresses, he'll remember what pitch got him out.
And the thing about him is, you see that big hole between first and second. He'll hit one through that hole to go first and third for Prince.
Ground ball to short. 1 and 2. 6-4-3 double play. And the Tigers are down to the bottom of the first. Chris Sale and the White Sox lead 1-0 through an inning here in Detroit. Top of the second, White Sox 1 and the Tigers nothing here in Detroit. A.J. Pierzynski with a career-high 24 home runs this year will lead it off against Justin Verlander. Here are Pierzynski's thoughts on facing one of the best.
Just try to get a good pitch because you never know what's coming. He's obviously one of the best pitchers in not only the American League but all of baseball. And you just try to get a good pitch off of him. He can throw you 3 or 4 pitches at any time. You never know what's coming. I know 3-2, he's throwing me curveball, he's throwing me changeup, he's throwing me 100 miles an hour. So there's nothing to really look for. You just hope you get a good pitch, you put a good swing on it, you can barrel it.
Well, he's barreled it to the point, guys, where he's got 3 career home runs off Justin Verlander. So even though he may not know if it's 100 miles an hour, a curveball, or a changeup coming, Pierzynski's got good enough hands and good enough recognition that he's done pretty well against Verlander.
He's barreled at least 3 up.
Yep. Pops it up back of third. Cabrera down the line in foul territory. 1 down.
I think what A.J. Pierzynski kind of what he meant on portion of that was you have to pick a pitch and hope you get it and then hope you put the barrel on it, because you just can't adjust from a 98-mile-an-hour fastball to a 73-mile-an-hour breaking ball. It's just about impossible. And we've noticed that early with Euclid, check swinging or on the 3-2 fastball. You know, they're picking pitches and they're guessing.
Here's Alexi Ramirez, the White Sox shortstop.
He was guessing strike and guessed wrong. I hate that. I guessed all the time. If I guessed fastball, it sometimes didn't matter where it was. I swung just like that.
And the fastball, 91, up in the zone and fouled off 0-2.
And a smart pitcher goes right back up there.
Verlander not having quite the season that he did a year ago. He won 24 games last year, lost 5. He's at 12-7 this year. But nice play down at first. Fielder feeds Verlander 2 down. This is not a team known for its defense, although Jim Leland went out of his way to tell us pregame that Prince Fielder's a much better athlete than he thought he was.
And we see it right here. I mean, that's a big body moving, but what's just as impressive for me is the way Verlander got over and covered first base.
And Verlander was there so quick, he almost had to stop at first and wait for the throw like a normal first baseman would.
You know what, Kirky? The really good ones, and I mean the really good ones, they do that type of stuff. Kurt Schilling, he never did he not cover first base. Those are things for me that really stick out.
Tyler Flowers, the batter.
And those were things for me that stuck out as a first baseman. You make a diving catch and you get up and your pitcher's standing there watching. That's when you want to fire it at him.
And there
were some bad words that followed too.
Just off the corner. Just to finish on a Verlander, you look at his 1-loss record and you say, boy, he's not having nearly as good a season. His innings per start and batting average against and strikeouts, all of them are somewhat comparable to last year, at least before his last start. But he's not getting the run support. The bullpen hasn't been as good behind him as it was last year. He could easily have more than just 12 wins this year. Boy, oh boy, good curveball, 1-2.
And for a guy that's won 12 games, if for me personally, if I had to win 1 game, I think he'd be the starter. I think Weaver has to be in that conversation. I know Sale's having a great year, but I think this is the guy you go to.
Got it. Strikeout number 4 for Justin Verlander. Cleanup hitter Prince Fielder will lead off the bottom of the second for the Tigers. Coverage of Major League Baseball continues Tuesday night with a doubleheader. It begins at 7 Eastern. The Yankees take on the Rays. A couple of teams with their sights set on the postseason if all goes well the rest of the way. And then at 10 Eastern, Game 2 of the doubleheader, it'll be the new-look Los Angeles Dodgers hosting the San Diego Padres. The Dodgers still looking up at the Giants in the National League West. Major League Baseball with a doubleheader Tuesday night for you this week on ESPN. Back here in Detroit, along with Terry Francona, John Kruk sitting in for Oral Hershiser this week. Buster Olney here as well. I'm Dan Schulman. Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN2. The White Sox won, the Tigers nothing. Chris Sale to face Prince Fielder. This is going to be fun. A lefty who is absolutely nasty for left-handed batters, and a left-handed batter who's going to stand in there with the best of them. And the catch made in center by Diaza on that hard hit liner off the bat of Fielder. So it's one of the great things about this sport. You got 6'6", 180 on the mound, 5'11", 275 in the batter's box, and it's an even match.
And I know he made an out, but look at this swing. He is right on that pitch. And as Crucky said earlier, that ball's almost seemingly coming from behind you. That's a good swing.
Delmon Young takes a strike.
And that would be my approach against Chris Sale. Lefty on lefty. If he throws anything close and you think you can hit it, swing. Because you might not get another pitch you can hit in that at bat.
We talked about the 4-inning start he had Tuesday against Baltimore, and he wasn't pitching that well. And the White Sox were trailing by a bunch of runs, so Robin Ventura got him out of there. His first year as a starter, he's thrown 157 innings coming into this game tonight. But unlike Steven Strasburg, and again, different circumstances, Strasburg coming back from Tommy John, Sale coming out of the bullpen last year, the White Sox are not going to shut down Sale unless they feel there's something physically wrong with him. Swing and a miss at a ball in the dirt, the tag applied, 2 down. And they've given him an extra day's rest whenever they can. They skipped him twice. He was in the bullpen for a few days in May. They skipped him around the All-Star break. But they're going to ride him. He's their ace, and they're going to ride him as long as they can.
And the one thing Sale's going to have to do as he continues his career, because of the way he's built, he's going to have to work extra hard on his shoulder program, things like that, because he's just not very big. And if he wants to throw 200 innings every year, he's going to have to keep that shoulder strong.
Davey Johnson, by the way, announcing today that Steven Strasburg's last start reportedly is going to be on the 12th of September, 10 days from now, which means he would get 2 more starts, one 5 days from now, another 10 days from now, and then that's going to be all. I think it's been as hot a topic as there's been in baseball all season long.
And not just when we're talking on TV, it's when we're at the hotel. It's everybody's interested in baseball is interested in talking about that.
I think the biggest question I get is if he's healthy, why is he not pitching? And that's the question that a lot of us have. How can you sit in the dugout and watch your team compete when there's nothing wrong with you?
6 shutout innings, 9 strikeouts for Strasburg today against the Cardinals.
And it's not him, and they think this is what's best for him. And you have to respect the fact that they're sticking with this.
Kenny Williams, the senior vice president, general manager of the White Sox, they have a different philosophy. And again, one guy's coming off surgery, one guy's coming out of the bullpen. Different situations. But the White Sox say as long as Sale looks and feels good, he's staying in there. Here's a ball driven deep. Left center field off the bat of Peralta. Wise can't make the catch. Johnny Peralta with a double.
Sale tries to get this, looks like a fastball. See, the catcher wanted it in. He got it out over the plate for Peralta, and he hits it in the gap. This is what Detroit needs. They need to get on the board here, try to get something going. You score in the bottom of the lineup, Terry. You know how valuable it is when the bottom of your lineup can produce runs. Let's see if Garcia can drive him in.
And it'll be interesting to see how he pitches to Garcia. And the reason I say that is Garcia has 3 major league at-bats. But you got a left-hander in Brennan Boesch behind him, and with Sale being so tough on lefties, I'd be surprised if they give Garcia something really good to hit.
Garcia just called up Friday, as you saw on that graphic, split the season between single A and double A. Jim Leland said he saw him for the first time a couple of years ago in the minor league camp, or when he came over for one spring training game, and said he thought he was the best tools guy in the organization. Lines it to right, but it'll stay up long enough for Rios to make the catch. Garcia retired, and the inning is over. White Sox up 1-0 at the end of 2. A Baseball Tonight update comes your way on the other side of this break. All right, fellas, thank you. Boy, for Atlanta, what a big hit that was for Chipper Jones. Atlanta had been struggling so badly, hadn't been scoring any runs at all. They'd lost 3 in a row coming into that game today. They pick up a huge win as 40-year-old Chipper Jones wins it. Orlando Hudson takes a strike to begin the 3rd inning for the White Sox. And for Atlanta, some of the teams behind them, the Cardinals lost today, the Pirates lost today. So a little more breathing room for the Braves atop the National League wildcard race. Hudson lines it into right field, a leadoff base hit. And the O-Dog, one of the chattiest players in baseball, is aboard at first.
And he's the same every day. He'll talk to every person on the field. There he goes. And he's always happy.
And he doesn't particularly need you to respond to keep talking. He'll just,
you know what?
He would prefer you not to respond.
But he's legit. Yeah. He is as solid a guy as you'll ever be around.
Getting a start at second base tonight. Gordon Beckham on the bench this evening as Diaz fouls it back.
I don't know what's left in his legs, but I'm running if I'm him.
As long as he doesn't hurt his vocal cords, he's okay.
Diaz coming off the DL and homering to lead off the game tonight off Verlander.
You know, Crucky, you're right. It wouldn't be surprising at all to see Chicago put some runners in motion.
Diaz trying to get a bunt down, but it's foul and it's 0-2.
what you call a versatile hitter. He hits a home run and second at bat. Well, let me try to drop a bunt on you. I don't know. There's a big hole open at first base. He's a pull hitter. And he pulled his home run. That was a breaking ball. It was a perfect pitch to hit in that hole to try to get first and third with the O-Dog. I'm swinging. Of course, I hated the bunt anyway.
And a ground ball to short. To second one, and that's all they're going to get. De Aza runs well, and a good hard takeout slide by Hudson as well.
Johnny Peralta's about as sure-handed and steady an infielder as you'll see. He doesn't have the greatest range. He doesn't get the most publicity, but he makes all the routine plays.
And Infante wasn't even close to being on the base.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't see it live, but I saw it there too. I mean, he was on the base, but it was well before he caught the ball.
I guess once you establish.
Let's take another look. Foot is off before he catches the ball.
That neighborhood. He's in the neighborhood. Great neighborhoods here in Detroit. What the heck?
So the fielder's choice, De Aza, who does run well, 21 steals on the season. He's at first with one out. Youkilis is the batter.
Youkilis is coming into this game 0 for 16. This is a tough guy to break out of a slump on. I think I'm stating the obvious.
The White Sox were getting very little production at third base earlier on in the season. Robin Ventura's old position with Chicago, so they acquired Youkilis, and early on he gave him a real spark. Had a week where he had a couple of game-winning hits. He has cooled off recently, but still giving them more than they were getting beforehand.
And even when he doesn't produce, where he goes through these dry periods, he grinds out at bats, and he'll have long at bats. Last at bat he went 3-2, saw 6 pitches. I mean, you got to pitch to him. He doesn't give away at bats.
Well, he hasn't guessed right yet. The 3-2 pitch, he didn't check, swung on the fastball, and then he was looking dead heater where that breaking ball showed up. 1-0.
And it hit him in the elbow, and Youkilis, hit by a pitch, awarded first base.
I mean, and you see he's having a hard time because he's starting to swing at that.
Yeah, he was definitely going to hack at that one. But I wonder if they make a elbow pad for the back elbow. That one got him.
94-mile-an-hour fastball, the 14th time that Youkilis has been hit by a pitch this year. And a changeup in for a strike on the first pitch to Dwayne Wise.
That's just unfair.
You're all revved up to drive in some runs.
He just hit a guy. You got guys scoring position. You know, you think to yourself, you know, I'm going to get something good to hit here, and he throws you that.
One of the areas where the White Sox have really been struggling recently is with runners in scoring position. They actually lead the majors in that department this year, but in the first 2 games of this series, just 1 for 20. How about a curveball at the knees for strike 2?
There's certain things in life that aren't fair.
And his changeup and his curveball are 2 of them?
Well, to go with 100, right. Yes. If it was going with 87, we got a chance.
Just foul.
And he's doing all this while keeping an eye on De Aza at second and doing a really good job of holding him close.
One of the toughest guys to get a hit off in any situation. Scoring position among them. The White Sox tonight 0 for 2, so they're 1 for 22 in the series, batting with runners in scoring position.
I think this is an opportunity where he can go up and away with a fastball 0-2 and then come back with either the changeup or the breaking ball. But I think I'm looking for something hard.
Fastball up and in.
You're right. And now he can come back with something soft again.
Yeah, and then that's a great pitch because now his feet moved a little bit. He can throw that changeup down and away, and I hope he makes contact. If he does, it's going to be a roller to second base or to first base. He's going to get at least one out of it.
He wants that one back, but he won't get it. Wise chases, 2 down.
I think Dwayne Wise was looking for the changeup down and away too.
And again, this is part of what makes Verlander so good is you can't sit on a pitch. I mean, watch this sequence. Changeup, curveball that was filthy, another curveball that was filthier, fastball to set him up, and then threw it a little bit higher. He can do everything. He can elevate, he can throw the breaking ball down, he can throw a changeup, and he throws them in all counts.
So 2 on, 2 out. Paul Konerko, the batter, he struck out his first time up. Truckee, you said that he might tie Scherzer for the major league lead in strikeouts in the 3rd. If he gets Konerko, he'll have accomplished that.
Well, that was the pitch right there. I mean, you know, that tell you, you get one pitch to hit per at bat. That might have been the one right there for Konerko. Now it's battle. And you try to just fight yourself off, try to fight something off, hit it the other way, and hopefully it falls in front of someone.
Knee-high fastball, 0-2.
And he's pumping it up now. He's up to 96. And he's got more in the tank than that.
He's saving that for the 7th. Where the hook might show up.
But you just use a good word, might.
Yeah.
What are you thinking here as a hitter? Just guess fastball, adjust to the other stuff?
Guess fastball, hope he doesn't throw a strike. With the other 2 or 3.
Chopper to second. Inning over. Verlander gets out of it. Still 1-0 White Sox. Going to the bottom of the 3rd. Night Baseball is presented by Taco Bell. The White Sox lead the Tigers 1-0. The White Sox lead the Tigers by a single game in the American League Central. The Tigers winning the first 2 games of this series to get within a game of Chris Sale and the White Sox. Sale through 2 innings, 1 hit, 1 walk, 1 strikeout, and a 1-0 lead, facing Brennan Boesch DHing tonight. This is a guy that so many people thought at the beginning of the year was ready for a breakout season. It looked, Tito, like he might hit second after Jackson, before Cabrera and Fielder, coming off some offseason thumb surgery, and he just never got it going this year.
And Jim Leland spoke to us about how he had a thumb injury and he wasn't really himself the first month, and then got out of sorts, and it really just kind of escalated and snowballed. And there's a lot to like about this kid. It just hasn't quite all sunk in yet. Some guys get it later.
One of the guys Jim Leland expected more offense from. It was thought the Tigers would just outslug people a lot this year. You knew they weren't going to be a great defensive team, but you expected more than 6th in the American League in runs scored. And I think, quite frankly, most people expected more than 10 games over 500, a game out of first. You know, Jim Leland has said, and he's right, hey, get to September, play meaningful games. And they're there, but I don't know if they're where they hope they would be. Just outside. Sale didn't look thrilled with that call.
Jim Leland's one of the funnest guys for me to go into the office and spend 10 or 15 minutes with. It's never boring.
No. Full count.
I love that when he managed the Pirates in September, he'd have all these call-ups. Who's this guy pitching? Well, if you don't get 3 hits tonight off this guy, here's what he throws. He'll tell you everything about the pitcher he was pitching against you. He gave you the full scouting report, and they were dead on. I thought he might lie, but he never did.
And a swing and a miss to get Boesch. 1 down. So getting back to the Tigers' theme of the season, some things that they had hoped for that maybe haven't gone as well. Avila has not hit as well as last year, nor has Boesch hit as well as they had hoped. Doug Fister, so good last year after coming over from Seattle, has been on the DL twice this year. And defense, and I think this was expected that they wouldn't be a good defensive team, and they have not been a good defensive team. Dave Dombrowski went out and signed Prince Fielder to the big deal. Let's not forget that was to replace Victor Martinez. Pretty good hitter in his own right, 300-plus hitter, 100 RBIs last year. And I remember we were in Lakeland in the spring doing a Tiger game, and you said, really good team, but hold on a minute. You thought people were getting a little bit carried away.
I thought it became fashionable to pick them when they signed Prince Fielder, and nothing against Prince Fielder. He's terrific. But he was replacing Victor Martinez, who almost matches him offensively, and in fact, in some cases, because a switch hitter may be better, and they lessened themselves defensively, which I think is huge. You know, whichever metric system you use nowadays, you got to turn balls put in play into outs.
Right.
And the Tigers struggle like that.
They are the worst in the American League in terms of the percentage of balls in play that they turn into outs. It's not just the errors. It's, as you guys well know, there's not a lot of range on this field. A lot of balls are getting through.
Yeah, you have to position yourself perfectly for this team, especially up the middle with their middle infield. You know, Johnny Peralta, Terry said, you know, as sure a hand of guys you're going to find, but the range is not what it used to be when he started out in Cleveland.
Gerald Laird will draw the walk. Let's look at those defensive metrics that our stats guru Terry Francona was alluding to moments ago. 67.4% of the balls in play they convert into outs. The major league average is somewhere between 69 and 70%. It doesn't sound like an enormous difference, but it works out to a lot of balls that aren't turned into outs, and sometimes they get one when they could have gotten two. Not little things that add up in a ball game.
To me, what it is giving your opponent extra opportunities. And like you said, doesn't have to be errors, but it's just extra opportunities. and that leads to more runs for the team you're playing.
And the reason why they are where they are is they have some pitchers, Scherzer, Verlander, who can strike people out, and they have to.
Ground ball to second. And the White Sox will turn it. 4-6-3 double play. Inning over. End of 3. Still 1-0 for the visitors. We expected a pitcher's duel here in Detroit tonight, and it's shaping up that way. A 1-0 game at the end of 3. Justin Verlander gave up a leadoff home run to Alejandro Diaz. That's all that he has allowed tonight. Chris Sale has not given up any runs yet. And in this all-important game, 2 outstanding pitchers on the mound. 1-0, Chicago leads. What have you seen so far from Verlander?
Well, we've seen, again, as we're looking here against Dwayne Wise, he has the ability to throw the ball down. He has the ability to raise your eye level with a fastball up. And then as we see against Paul Konerko, he has the ability to use all quadrants of the plate also. So what he's doing is he's throwing hard, he's throwing soft, he's going in, he's going away, he's doing it all.
5 strikeouts on the night, 203 on the season, 1 back of Max Scherzer for the major league lead. And inside ball 1 to Alex Rios.
And as hard as he throws, he's got to be fun to catch because he follows the glove. I mean, as a catcher, you're not hopping around back there all over the place.
So outstanding stuff. A pitcher, not a thrower, and as competitive a guy as there is on the mound. Other than that, nothing going for him.
I'm going to tell you, and again, obviously, I think a lot of this guy. I think he's as close to Nolan Ryan as any pitcher I've seen. And that's about as big a compliment as you can give somebody.
Rios drives the ball to deep center field. Jackson racing back, makes the catch shy of the track. One of the most unusual things about a Verlander, and we touched on this earlier in the game, he kind of settles in and he doesn't throw with maximum velocity early. These numbers usually go the other way, but Crucky, he throws harder later in the game.
Yeah, and that's what the amazing thing. Usually when you have a guy who throws hard, you can expect that from inning 1 because they love to show it off. Well, in his early years, he loved to show off his fastball. He'd come out of the gate. You saw in the All-Star game, throwing 97, 98. He got hit around a little bit. Now he realizes, you know what, if I can throw it at 90, 91, 92, get quick outs, easy outs, I know what I have left in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. That's why he goes deep into games, every outing just about, and that's why he gets stronger as the game goes on because he conserves early.
Well, he threw a game, I believe it was in the ALCS last year against Texas. Must win a game for the Tigers. He threw 133 pitches. They were short on relievers. Game 5 of the ALCS. Tigers had to win to stay alive. And his 133rd and final pitch of the night was 101 miles an hour. Thanks for coming.
We watched a game back in Bristol. It was the game against Kansas City this year, and they had bases loaded in the ninth inning, 3-2 count, and he threw a fastball to the last hitter. I think it was Alex Gordon, and it was 100 miles an hour for a called strike. And we're in the studio, and we're all on the edge of our seat. It was amazing to watch.
Curveball, and Pierzynski knew it. 2 down.
Well, the pitch before was a great breaking ball, and this one's equally as good. And yeah, you heard what AJ said. You just hope you can make a mistake, and he barreled it up. Well, if he doesn't make a mistake, you strike out.
Here's Alexi Ramirez.
And you talk about posting. This guy throws 200 innings every year. I mean, it's just, and he just got there again.
Just hit it, yep.
I mean, he's built for endurance.
And he told me last year coming into the season when I saw him in spring training, he said, this year I'm preparing from day one of spring training. I'm pitching like every game's a game situation. He goes, I'm not going out there just to get loose, get feel for the mound. He goes, I'm going out from day one of spring training to get hitters out. And he said, I think I need to do that so it tones me down when the season starts. Obviously, it's working.
Last year he threw 251 innings in the regular season, threw another 20 1/3 in the postseason. So 271 innings last year.
I thought that wasn't allowed.
One, two. Great job by Ramirez just to get a piece, but he's retired. Cabrera to Fielder on the infield. Cabrera and Fielder both scheduled to bat for the Tigers when we come back. Back for the bottom of the fourth here in Detroit with Terry Francona, John Kruk, Buster Olney. I'm Dan Schulman. Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell on ESPN2. Big game in the American League Central. White Sox leading the Tigers 1-0. Big time pitching matchup. Chris Sale and Justin Verlander. Omar Infante leads it off for the Tigers and takes low ball one. Infante with a fly ball to right field his first time up. Miguel Cabrera and Prince Fielder to follow. Youkilis recovers and makes the play to get the out. And here comes Cabrera. As Tito mentioned a little bit earlier, and it's an outside shot, but to even be talking in September about a guy who's got a chance to win a Triple Crown means he's having an extraordinary season. Second in batting average, second in RBIs. He's 5 home runs behind the American League leader Adam Dunn, and there's a whole lot of hot in his hot zone. The blue works. There just isn't any.
And what it shows is if you want to get him out, you better not let him get those big arms extended. But that's not very easy to do. And you got to remember, this is a guy that's hitting 330 something. He's not getting a lot of infield hits,
if any. And I think that's a remarkable thing. But what I love about him is he's not afraid to slap it the other way with 2 strikes. He'll extend the strike zone, expand the strike zone, and hit it the other way. You know, a lot of guys can't do that who hit for power.
What it does when there's runners on base, it allows Jim Leyland to put runners in motion with 2 strikes because he knows Cabrera will protect them and hit the ball that way.
He's probably their best second hitter on their team. Problem is he's too good to hit there.
To your point, 54 hits to left this year, 52 to center, 60 to right. And even if you look at extra base hits, 29 to left, 16 to center, 22 to right.
Now how do you pitch to him?
Out there, ball 4. And Cabrera now up on things and heading down to first base. Sale issues his 3rd walk of the night.
We see the sequence here. Doesn't want to let him get his arms extended. Goes breaking ball down. That was the pitch he could have hit. And again, breaking ball and then a fastball, and I'll go after the next hitter. He just didn't want to give in, which I don't blame him.
Second start in a row, though, where Sale has walked 3 batters. Prince Fielder takes outside ball 1. And the walks were what got him in trouble in the Baltimore game. Walked a couple, eventually gave up a 3-run double to Nick Markakis. You can see that Prince against lefties has done better work on pitches in on him than away from him.
And that to me is natural, because your natural tendency against lefty is to bail just a little bit. You throw it in, it's when you're bailing like I did, it was right down the middle. When they threw it away, it looked like a mile away.
And, you know, up to that pitch, I thought Prince had a really good approach. And then Sale spun him that slurve, and now he's got Prince in between.
You can see him grinding it out in his head right now, like, uh-oh, back off a second here, now what? I still have to look fastball.
And it gets him. So Sale walks a batter, hits a batter.
And Dan, we talked about this earlier in the season. Delmon Young is one of their most important hitters because he's hitting behind those 2. He's going to be hitting with runners on base. And in September and in the playoffs, if they're to get there, he will be one of their most important bats.
He's coming up, and Don Cooper, the longtime pitching coach for the White Sox, is out to the mound. Let's go down to the field and join Buster Olney.
Guys, Chris Sale is a candidate for the Cy Young Award, but you remember earlier in the year there was actually brief talk about him being moved back to the bullpen. That's because in his start against Seattle on April 20th, he threw 44% sliders. Kenny Williams, their general manager, went to him and said, look, if you're going to throw 44% sliders, no arm can take that kind of stress. We're moving you back to the pen. And Sale really fought Williams on it, going back at him to the point that Williams told me that at one point he said to Sale, look, you're about ready to cross the line. Sale talked his way back into the rotation, and he's been making more adjustments, throwing that changeup more and more. Williams said he really respects his toughness.
Well, part of greatness is stubbornness. And you know, look, I have no problem with a guy fighting for himself. And you know, even though he's a young player and you'd like to say, you know, he would go along with what the general manager suggests, you still have to respect the guy for believing what he believes in, but also the fact that he wanted to make an adjustment himself and help himself and help his team.
He's pitching now. A changeup misses down and in, and a swing and a miss of the slurve. Delmon Young, who had a huge 3-run double to break the tie in the 7th inning of the Tigers' win Friday night, has 2 men on with a 1 out here in the 4th. The Tigers winning the first 2 games of this series. They are 1 game behind the White Sox for the lead in the American League Central. Jim Leyland's team also a factor in the wild card race. A big moment and a big challenge for young Chris Sale. Cabrera at second, a Fielder at first. Got him. What a big response there from Sale.
And that's that slurve we've been talking about. He has the ability to start it out in the zone or in the zone, and then it's out of the zone. Got a funky angle with a lot on the pitch. And now he goes from being in trouble to being one pitch getting out of this inning.
Johnny Peralta, who's got the only Tiger hit of the game, a double in the 2nd inning. Sale's been his own worst enemy, really. He's walked 3 and hit 1. He's got 2 double play balls, which have helped him tonight. And now, after striking out Young, trying to get Peralta and end the threat. Missed outside with a breaking ball, 2-1.
You see the difference in at bat from Delmon Young and Johnny Peralta. Johnny Peralta was laying off those pitches. Delmon Young was chasing. Chris Sale can continue to throw it down in the zone, out of the zone, because Delmon was overly aggressive. Peralta's waiting him out, hoping to get something elevated.
Right back to the slurve again, 2-2.
Or just when you think you got him set up. But that's why these guys, he and Verlander, are both so good. The unpredictability with great stuff.
Whoa. Outside?
It'll be interesting to see what K-Zone thinks. Yeah, K-Zone said it's a nasty pitch.
Yeah. you would like to think that nothing's unhittable, but that might have been it. That might have been one of them.
With a full count, 2 down, that gives Cabrera and Fielder both a chance to be on the move with the pitch. Fouled off, and Peralta will get another chance.
And the count being 3-2 and allowing Cabrera to be on the move at second is no little factor. He's nursing that bad ankle, and he's not the fleetest of foot anyway. a base hit now scores him where there's a chance, even in the spacious ballpark, that it wouldn't have before.
And you don't think third base coach Gene Lamont's not the happiest guy in the ballpark? Because if he's limping, that ankle's hurting, he sends him, he slides into home and slides into Flowers' shin guards and hurts that ankle more.
That's going to stay fair and end the inning. After the visit from Don Cooper, Sale strikes out Delmon Young, and then gets Johnny Peralta to the ground out and gets out of a jam. Kenny Williams, the GM, likes what he sees. The pitcher's duel continues in Detroit. One to nothing. White Sox, top of the fifth here in Detroit. Justin Verlander facing Tyler Flowers, the Chicago catcher. 1 run on 3 hits for the White Sox. The run coming on a leadoff home run by Alejandro Diaz. No runs on 1 hit for the Tigers. Each team has left 3 men aboard. On the appeal, no swing. 2-0. You can envision a scenario, say these two teams wind up tied at the end of the regular season. They have to play a 1-game playoff to decide who gets into the postseason. Imagine if it were Sale and Verlander matching up in that game, if they hadn't been used in any of the last couple of games of the regular season. There could be, with the second wild card and the possibility of tiebreakers, there could be chaos in a good way on the day after the regular season.
If you like baseball, it's great. If you're in one of those uniforms, there's some anxiety.
Anxiety you went through, obviously, as everybody knows, last year. A 1-game lead for the White Sox over the Tigers. Oakland won again today. They are the leaders in the American League wildcard race. They beat the Red Sox again. How about the Oakland A's? What a story.
I mean, you talk about coming out of nowhere. And I think everybody thought, okay, they had a nice run. It's a good story. And then they get even hotter.
Brett Anderson got the win today as they beat Boston 6-2. Seth Smith hit a home run. 9 in a row for the A's. Flowers hooks the ball down the left field line, foul.
But that's the unpredictability of youth. They have a young pitching staff. Cespedes, you thought he could be a good player. You didn't know he was going to be this good. Obviously, Reddick, not to bring up any
No, but he's turned into a really good player
and a great defender. And you know, I think this whole money ball, we're going to take walks and get on base, that's gone by the wayside. They have guys who swing it now.
And I know I'm a little biased, but their pitching coach, Curt Young, he's done a wonderful job with that youthful staff.
Baltimore also picked up another win today. They take 2 out of 3 from the Yankees, beat them 8-3. Mark Reynolds hit 2 more home runs, had 4 homers in the series.
Long ones. Really long ones.
Wow. Close but no. Ball 4. Flowers draws the walk. Moments ago, Buster Olney with Jim Leland.
Jim, Chris Sale presents a unique challenge. How have you felt about your team's at-bat so far tonight?
Well, so far he's getting us out of the strike zone. He's going to his off-speed stuff, particularly behind in the count, and we're not making him elevate the ball. You know, we swung at some balls that inning with a chance to score some runs. You know, they were down quite a bit, but it's a pretty nasty breaking ball. It's not that easy.
What are you seeing in Justin Verlander?
He's fine. He's throwing the ball good. You know, he gave up the leadoff home run, but he's settled right in. He's pitching very well.
Jim, thanks.
Leadoff man aboard for the White Sox in the 5th. Number 9 hitter Orlando Hudson up. Runner is going as it is fouled back. All kinds of options for Robin Ventura with this combination.
Hitting and run with the catcher on first. That's different, huh?
Well, you're showing a lot of confidence in your hitter, and I wouldn't be surprised now if they go back to the bunt. Now, Flowers does have 2 stolen bases, and they're probably in similar situations, but I would not be surprised to see Hudson square around and bunt now.
I mean, he got to hit his last at bats. You know, maybe Robin Ventura figured, you know what, he apparently sees the ball decently enough off Verlander, we can put something on. And I think you have to against great pitchers. I think if you wait back against great pitchers, you wait to lose.
A ball and a strike to count on Hudson. What about the job done by Robin Ventura? A surprise candidate, even to himself. Kenny Williams had a meeting with him in the offseason, and Ventura thought it was going to be just to discuss the White Sox minor league prospects, and then Williams informed him that he was interviewing for the White Sox managerial position. And as Buster Olney wrote in his column today, Robin, and Buster cleaned up the comment nicely, Robin said something to the effect of, "You're nuts." And here he is.
I think it goes farther than that, though. I think it's obvious Robin's done a tremendous job. I think he selected a very good staff.
Very close.
I mean, they have some guys like Joe McEwing and Mark Parent. I mean, they have some. They're youthful. They're prepared. They've done a really good job. You can tell when you walk in their clubhouse, their guys like playing for this group of not just the manager, but the coaches also.
Obviously, a very different feel about the team than under Ozzie Guillen, and Ozzie had great success. They won the World Series in 2005, and Ozzie had a long, productive career as the manager of the Chicago White Sox. But you'd be hard-pressed to find 2 human beings whose personalities are further apart than Ozzie Guillen and Robin Ventura.
Two good friends who are very much different than one another. Yep. And look, as much as I love Ozzie, I think they had to go in a different direction because, you know, I think the players, you know, after a while sadly, it happens to every great manager. They tune you out, and sometimes a new voice, a new direction, a new personality is needed in a clubhouse. And I think the White Sox found the perfect guy because, let me tell you something, it's 1-0. They're on the verge of being swept. They're on the verge of being tied for first place in their division. It's like the first day of spring training to this man.
Why are you looking at me when you say tuned out?
I'm trying to be respectful.
All right, Tito, full count.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be interesting. Yep. I think they're going to run them, because I think Robin Ventura has enough confidence that Orlando Hudson can put the bat on the ball. But for me, it's not a given.
And Flowers better be careful because he's got close a couple times getting picked off. He gets a little bit too much lean. Verlander might get him.
There he goes. 3-2 fouled back.
This is the one right here. He'll throw over here. I mean, this is in a situation on first. You're not stealing the base. You're running to try to stay out of a double play, knowing that feeling that the hitter should make contact or walk.
Even though the guy on the mound has 204 strikeouts this year, it is a gamble.
Yes.
Goes again. Swing and a miss. Throw down. Got him.
And by running to try to stay out of the double play, you end up running into the double play. And we get a nice pick by Peralta, and he slides right into the tag. But again, I like the idea that they're being aggressive. Like you said, Crucky, if you sit around and wait, you're waiting to lose. You got to try to make something happen.
And it was a changeup, too, by Verlander, 86. But you saw how quickly he went to home plate so Flowers couldn't get any jump at all. I mean, watch how quick he went. He just went set. He put his head down and went right to home. And Flowers was a half a step late on his jump, and that's why he got thrown out. I mean, that's just a veteran, smart pitcher. He knew he's running. I'm not going to throw over. I'm not going to fool with it. I'm just going to change my cadence to home plate and go quicker.
Yes, he did. Diaz is gone. 8 strikeouts for Verlander. Two of the best in baseball this season, Chris Sale and Justin Verlander. A 1-0 game going to the bottom of the 5th. Verlander giving up the leadoff home run to Alejandro Diaz. That is the only run that has scored in this game. Verlander 8 strikeouts to just 1 walk. He's actually had better command of his stuff. Chris Sale has been in and out of the strike zone, but he's gotten a couple of big double play balls in this game. He'll face the bottom third of the Tiger lineup, beginning with the rookie right fielder, 22-year-old Avisail Garcia, who is making just his second major league start, playing in just his third major league game. He is from Venezuela, and he apparently is like a little brother to Miguel Cabrera. And if you see Garcia walking towards you in the clubhouse from about 50 feet away, you think it's Cabrera. Garcia is a big guy, and in fact, he doesn't even have his own big league shoes yet, so he's wearing Miguel Cabrera's shoes here. Breaking him in for the Tigers. as he goes down on strikes. And Jim Leland says that having Garcia around has perked up Cabrera and vice versa. And Jim Leland's out teaching him how to play the right field wall. Tom Brookins is out there with him. Then, just in case he didn't get the message, Lloyd McClendon's going to talk to him as well. This is about hitting the whole coaching staff. A crash course in big league ball for young Garcia.
And you wonder why young kids come up and they sometimes have struggles.
Too much information?
Well, no, believe me. Look, I don't think that the Tigers coaching staff are overcoaching. It's just you have to absorb so much so quickly that sometimes your head gets, in the way of your natural ability.
Brennan Boesch with a drive, deep center field. Gone! Chris Sale's given up 2 home runs to left-handed batters in 157 at-bats this year. Brennan Boesch has both of them.
That was a strong young man.
Now Laird sends it a long way to left field, just shy of the wall, where Wise makes the catch for the second out.
And you can't get any more down the middle than that. That is middle, and he hit it middle, about 440 feet.
As you hear people say sometimes, that was a big boy home run right there for Brennan Boesch.
And that is a huge run.
Yeah.
I mean, the way Sale was pitching, the way Verlander's pitching, for the Tigers to get this game tied is huge.
Austin Jackson, the batter.
And the lefties in the Tigers lineup have hit the ball the hardest off Sale. Prince lined out to center. I mean, Peralta's ball was hit pretty hard. But that ball right there was crushed. Serious power.
I think that's what Detroit envisioned when the season started, having Boesch hit second in front of those big boys, getting a lot of fastballs and doing a ton of damage. And it just didn't work out that way.
But he hit the big triple off Liriano's, another lefty with a good slider. And now he hits Sale, home run off Sale. Maybe this is a sign of that Boesch is starting to come out of this thing.
You know, it's funny because Garcia just showed up, and he's gotten the start in right field the last couple of games. But Boesch in there as the DH has had a couple of big hits. A full count on Jackson.
I don't know if Brennan Boesch feels this way, but and again, it's hard to say. But there's a lot of times when you're told you're the starter, sometimes you relax mentally, and then when all of a sudden someone pushes you, now all of a sudden it's like, hey, wait, I have to play to earn my keep. Maybe this is one of these things he feels like his job is threatened now. His playing time is going to be threatened, and now you better pick it up. But he hits Chris Sale and Liriano. He's going to play a lot. Lurking.
Still alive. Jackson hitting over 300 this season, playing very good defense in center field, leading the league in triples. Fights it off weakly, and it's a fair ball, and he's safe. Oh, man. It hit the bag, bounced away from Konerko, and Jackson's aboard at first.
Boy, that's clean living.
It's an absolutely smart play by Paul Konerko because the ball jammed him. It's got spin on it. It starts out foul. It's going to come back in fair. give Austin Jackson credit. He wasn't running really hard, but he was at least running. He wasn't standing in the box. The break of that ball hitting the base and bouncing away from Konerko, I mean, where do you go?
And if I was Chris Sale, I'd throw over on the first pitch.
I mean, you guys both played a lot of first base. That's a crazy play down there.
But Konerko was doing the right thing. He's trying to let it come back fair and get an easy out.
And then it hits the bag and bounces away.
If Jackson's sprinting out of the box, he might have got that foul. But because he was jogging out of the box, he thought, well, maybe I can get an easy out here if it comes back in fair. Bad luck.
The scoreboard shows it as a base hit, but we have been told that it is an error that's been charged on Konerko on the play.
Well, they'll change that back. That has to be a hit.
Omar Infante, the batter, and now, and you called it, and they got him hung up. Got Jackson between first and second, and that will end the inning. 5 complete in Detroit, and the Tigers have tied it. Brennan Boesch taking Chris Sale to straightaway center field. 1-1 in Detroit. All right, Carl, Barry, thank you very much. Tied at 1 as we go to the 6th inning. Big game in the American League Central. As the guys mentioned, the White Sox 1 up on Detroit. In the East, the Yankees are just 2 up on the Orioles. And in the West, Texas is 3 up on Oakland. All 3 divisions are still up for grabs, to say the least, in the American League. Kevin Youkilis leads it off. And you can never take anything for granted. You found that out painfully firsthand last year, Tito. But if you're Texas or the Yankees a few weeks ago, you're feeling pretty good. And now you're scratching and clawing to stay out of the wild card game and assure yourself of a playoff spot.
Let me get situated here.
Tito had a little micro wardrobe malfunction here.
That's difficult. What I was trying to say before my headgear got wrapped around my face.
Crucky, pull yourself together, please.
Is watching the Yankees like a couple weeks ago, I thought they were as positioned as well as anybody, even with their injuries.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, they've come down to earth in a hurry.
Granderson didn't play again today. Teixeira's out. A-Rod's out. Pettit's still out. Well, this kind of stuff happens every week, right? It's nothing new.
I'm talking and I'm trying to figure out why I can't hear myself.
The microphone goes in the front.
Jeez. Oh. That's the way it is, man.
I got you.
I think I've lived too Moss.
Changeup fouled off by Youkilis, 2-2.
I've witnessed you at your finest. Yeah.
For the Yankees, by the way, Alex Rodriguez is expected to return tomorrow, so they'll get a little help there. Full count. You want to show America what happens? You want to recreate it? Yeah. He put the headset on that way, so the microphone's way back behind here.
You guys were kind enough to tell me it was on wrong too.
Come on, rookie. It's September. You're not a rookie anymore. Let's go. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell, is brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and Chase Sapphire Preferred. Get 2 times the points on all your travel and dining purchases. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, another group familiar with you.
There's a lot of groups.
Yeah.
There's Dwayne Wise.
And and we're laughing up here, but if I know Kevin Youkilis, and I do, there's some damage being done in that dugout right now.
I thought he was going to eat that back.
Oh.
It looked like he wanted to take a chunk out of it. Strikes out, get hits by pitch, and lines out. Not a good day so far.
But when we were talking to Robert Ventura, he said that Youkilis brought a little. He was trying to come up with the right word, and I said edge, and he said yeah. He said it's been good for our team.
Wise pulls it foul. He doubled in the first inning, struck out in the third. He's 7 for 18, a .389 average in his career against Verlander. And another reason he's hitting third, because Wise is not normally a number 3 hitter. Robin Ventura doesn't want to move the other guys around. He wants to leave Konerko fourth. He likes to have somebody between Konerko and Pierzynski so they don't clog the bases. And sometimes you'll see everybody move up when a key guy is out, Adam Dunn in this case. And sometimes, Tito, they'll just leave them where they are. And there's Youkilis. And he put himself in timeout. He needs a little alone time.
He takes his at bat as hard as anybody.
Yeah.
But I will say this. 5 seconds later, he'll be screaming for his teammate.
Wise to center field, 2 down to Buster.
I'm sitting here along the White Sox dugout, and I can report that when Kevin Youkilis got back to the dugout, he did express his displeasure.
Thought about breaking it over his leg right there.
Or taking a chunk out of it.
Yeah.
I tell you what, he'd give you everything he has. He grinds out every at bat, and he's been doing it for a long time.
Paul Konerko.
He has gotten the most out of that body. I mean, he wasn't blessed with speed and a great arm, and he made himself one of the elite hitters in the American League.
It's an interesting group, and Kenny Williams, as much as any GM in baseball, he goes out and makes moves. He's an aggressive general manager. They got Youkilis this year, Francisco Liriano, Brett Myers, Dwayne Wise. They might not be, back of the tabloid headlines splashing moves, but he goes out and makes moves.
And he rewarded the guys in uniform for playing well the first 3 or 4 months. I mean, they kept adding. They added Youkilis, like you said, Brett Myers, I mean, they made their team better.
I was teasing Kenny today about, he had to make Robin's life a little difficult by bringing in Brett Myers and Uke. Can't make it easy for him all year. I mean, all those years in Boston, you didn't have any characters to keep you occupied, did you?
No. It was always smooth sailing.
There's a ball laced to left field, down for a base hit. And Konerko aboard with a long 2-out single. Crucky, those Phillies teams you were on weren't without characters as well. You being one of them.
I feel sorry for Jim Fregosi to this day. But the one thing we did, like Terry's team did when they won World Championships, is they policed themselves. We did stupid things.
But when the game started, you guys played.
Yes.
Here's Alex Rios.
It's just up until the time the game started, you didn't know if the 8 that were in the original lineup were going to be around to participate that night.
Good curveball there. A ball and a strike on Rios. 0 for 2 on the night.
Yeah, day games weren't our friend.
Verlander with 8 strikeouts tonight. A major league leading 206, 2 ahead of his teammate Max Scherzer. Fastball over the outside corner at 98, and it's 1-2.
Well, as we kid with each other a lot of times, Verlander is his own reliever. He starts out 90, 92, and then he comes up to 96, 97.
Fly ball center field. Inning over. Verlander off the field. Miguel Cabrera will bat second for the Tigers when we come back in a 1-1 tie. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell, is brought to you by HP. If you're going to do something, make it matter. You're looking at the Ford Motor Company's Dearborn Truck Plant. They allow you to view the final assembly line for the F-150. That's pretty cool. You can enter the plant, see the truck as an empty shell, and you can leave seeing a completed F-150. Bottom 6, tied at 1. Dan Schulman, Terry Francona, John Kruk sitting in for Oral Hershiser this week. Buster Olney down in the field. Chris Sale and Justin Verlander, and it is living up to expectations.
Big inning for Chris Sale here, going through the middle of the order after they've seen him a couple times. You give Miguel Cabrera, Prince Fielder out, but when they've seen 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pitches, they get more dangerous.
Prince Fielder due up third this inning. Cabrera. Was it lurking or looming? He was lurking, you said, right? Lurking. He's lurking in the on-deck circle. 1-2, bounced into left field, a base hit for Infante. Well, here's a note on Chris Sale as he faces the lineup for the third time. According to Elias, the first time through the order, batters are hitting 188 against Sale. Second time through the order, 222. Third or after, 258. So it's not like they're crushing him, but they've had better success the more they've seen him. And you don't want to give this guy too many looks. Cabrera bouncing into a double play in the first. He walked in the fourth.
And these two guys coming up aren't the league average.
And John, as you were talking about earlier, as we see Chris Sale throw over to first, with your number 3 hitter up and the best hitter maybe in the league, you can still run because he can hit the ball through the hole that way and protect the runner.
And if he gets something he likes, he can drive it in the gap and score a run easily and then put himself in scoring position.
The double play that Miguel Cabrera hit into in the first inning, the 24th ground ball double play that he's hit into this season. That's the most in the American League.
Terry, if you're the manager, though, do you want a guy like Miguel Cabrera to have to swing, or do you want him to swing at something he wants to?
I want him to have his choice of pitches.
Lays off outside, ball 2. There's the rookie Garcia. The almost big brother, little brother relationship that we've been told that he and Cabrera have. Garcia 22, first week in the big leagues. Like Cabrera, from Venezuela. Ball 3.
And I don't think the light can get any greener.
It's not flashing.
Yeah, he may not swing, but he has the right to.
And this is where Sale, you have to be smart. You can't just throw a cookie in there down the center of the plate and hope.
Everybody in the ballpark knew time had been called except Sale. Adrian Johnson, the umpire, was trying to get Sale's attention and get Cabrera out of the box and protect himself at the same time.
And Miguel Cabrera, he's talking to the guys in the White Sox dugout. Look at him. I guess when you're that good.
Yeah. He's probably looking at him saying, well, I feel sorry for you guys.
Yeah.
I got 3-0 with the runner on base. How are you feeling about this game right now?
Walks him. Here comes Don Cooper again. His visit in the fourth inning was a very timely one. Right after he came out and spoke to Sale. Sale struck out Young and got Peralta to ground out to get out of that threat. Sale's in another jam now, and the bullpen's getting up for the White Sox.
And Prince Fielder certainly isn't going to bunt. But what you'd like to see is anything but a double play if you're the Tigers. Want to see that runner at second be standing on third with less than 2 outs.
Prince Fielder, like Miguel Cabrera, the picture of confidence and relaxation as he waits for his opportunity. Last time up, he was hit by a pitch when facing Sale.
And see the ball out of the hand. It's almost behind him. And ends up being a check swing for a strike. That's a tough pitch. End up hitting him with a fastball in. So he's shown him both.
And he didn't like either one.
Big moment here for the Tigers. 2 on, nobody out. Fielder the batter. And the breaking ball in for a called strike.
And that's why the walk to Miguel Cabrera. Look, you never want to put the go-ahead run on second base, but if he can get Prince out, and that's a nasty pitch right there, if he can throw 2 more, he's got a great opportunity. But he's already struck out Delmon Young twice. He got Peralta the last at bat to hit a check swing grounder to first base on a 3-2 pitch. So he feels confident if he can get Prince.
Jim Leland telling us before the game, the one thing that he didn't realize about Prince Fielder until he started managing him this year, he knew he was a great power hitter. What he realizes now is he's a great hitter with a ton of power. He leads the majors in on-base percentage. This guy knows what he's doing up there in all respects.
Well, and he told me that he learned a lot just by watching Miguel Cabrera, how to drive in a run with a runner on second base, hitting the ball the other way. He said, when he was in Milwaukee, it was power, try to hit it out of the ballpark. He realized with Cabrera, it's a single, double the other way will score 1 or 2. And then if they make a mistake, you can hit it out of the park. But most of his RBIs are going to come by hitting the ball the other way. And that's what Cabrera does. And Prince has learned that.
How about that stat we just showed you? He leads the American League in batting with 2 strikes. You'd think that would be, a number 2 hitter, a middle infielder who chokes up and punches the ball the other way, and it's this guy.
What amazing stat for me is he's walked 71 times. He's struck out 62. That is an amazing statistic.
Fights it off. Nate Jones up in the bullpen for the White Sox. Sale in a jam, 2 on, nobody out, tie game. Another 2-2 pitch. And he chases the breaking ball down and away to strike out.
Well, the first pitch of the at-bat was the key. He got the first slider down and away. Now he can go any way he wants. He gets 1-2, he gets a pitch in on Prince, gets another pitch in. So now he's conscious, in. And what's he do? He throws that slurve down and away. Prince, you see the hips pulling off that ball. Perfect pitch selection by Chris Sale to get the strikeout he needed.
He left one breaking ball over the plate that Prince fouled, and other than that, he really pitched him tough. Now I think the thing they got to not worry about, but they can't let Infante run. I mean, they're going to, and you see Orlando Hudson, they have to defend the stolen base now with 1 out.
And if you're the Chicago White Sox and you're Flowers, I mean, the throw would be down to second base if you think Infante gets a good jump, because Cabrera might not even go, but it still keeps the double play in order.
Delmon Young has struck out twice.
And I'll tell you, Delmon Young is not going to walk. He is swinging from the on-deck circle.
And he's not seeing very many fastballs from Chris Sale tonight.
Well, he doesn't have to.
Or very many strikes.
But I mean, they're taking his aggressiveness and using it against him. And this is Orlando Hudson is coming in to tell his young pitcher not to forget.
Another breaking ball, 1-2.
I'm guessing breaking ball again.
I know they talked to Chris Sale about throwing more fastballs, but tonight with this lineup, he has thrown a lot of breaking balls, but they've been good.
Out in front of ball and 2 strikes. And another one that Young just gets a piece of.
I know Kenny Williams had to talk. Don't throw as many sliders, but I'm sure he's up there right now saying, throw him another one, throw him another one.
I mean, if he throws him a fastball now, you don't know if Young would come out of his shoes trying to swing at it, or if he'd be so surprised it would just freeze him.
I actually don't think you can fool Delmon Young with a fastball.
No.
Okay. Hit a long way and gone! As it turns out, Sale threw him one slurve too many. Couldn't fool him with that last one. Young went down, dug it out, hit it into the bullpen for a 3-run homer.
And we'll see on the replay. I don't think it was a bad pitch at all. I just think he saw one too many slurves, and he went down and hit a good pitch.
Remember the big hit Friday night in a 4-4 tie in the 7th inning. Young with a 3-run double. Detroit wins 7-4. Now in a tie game in the 6th inning here on Sunday night, a 3-run homer. And he is some kind of hot. Young is now 13 for 30 in his last 8 games and driving in a lot of runs. Fastball inside and a full count on Johnny Peralta. Got it. Change up away, 2 down.
And here we're going to see the last 4 pitches. Slurve for a ball, he leaves out. Slurve, good one down in the zone. Another one that he got him swinging. And in this one, again, it's 6-8 inches down out of the zone, but he never elevated his eye level. That's a good pitch, and it's just a better piece of hitting.
Now Garcia sends the ball a long way to right field, off the fence on the fly. Hit it so hard he'll have to settle for a long single. The second big league hit for Avisail Garcia. This guy's had some quality at bats in the last couple of days.
And Jim Leland before the game talked about not only Cabrera's presence with this young man, but how Cabrera wants to show him, his fellow countrymen, that he's the best hitter in the league and he's elevating his game. But if you're going to emulate a hitter, he picked a good one.
Yep.
So 2 down, Garcia at first. And here's Brennan Boesch, who homered off Sale his last time up.
I always thought if you're going to show someone how to hit, you better know how to do it yourself. And he can do it. Or you better not disappoint him either. That was a
bullet.
Oh,
that was a bullet. because he was running out of the box as fast as he could, and he had no chance to go to second.
Jimmy John's out there took a dent.
All of a sudden, the Tigers with Young so hot, Boesch swinging the bat better, Garcia having a good couple of days. They look like more than just Cabrera, Fielder, and Jackson this weekend.
And Dan, I'll give you another name, Al Albuquerque. He's going to thicken up that bullpen.
Yep. Scherzer's pitching as well as anybody right now.
I mean, they already have Valverde closing games. They have Benoit, who's the primary setup man and who gets left-handers out. Octavio Dotel has been throwing the ball really well. And if you get Albuquerque back the way he can throw, which from everybody, what all the scouts are saying he is, that gets pretty deep.
Meanwhile, Sale now at 105 pitches. Jones ready if needed in the bullpen. He's walked 4 batters tonight, including Cabrera this inning. Cabrera scoring on the home run by Young. And the inning is over. But not before Delmon Young breaks the tie, just as he did with a big hit on Friday night. Young has driven in 8 runs now in the series, including 3 on that swing of the bat. Top of the 7th in Detroit. Justin Verlander takes the mound with the lead for the first time tonight. 4-1 the Tigers lead. Delmon Young homers and is now out of the game as Don Kelly is on defensively in left field. Kelly spending time in the majors and the minors this year. Good changeup there and a swing and a miss. Kelly getting some time and coming up with some big hits in the playoffs last year for the Tigers when they were beset by injuries. Meanwhile, here's Verlander after giving up a leadoff home run in the game. He's got a lead now in the 7th, nearing 100 pitches.
Which means he's just getting loose.
It's a bullpen session.
Swing and a miss. Explosive movement on that fastball. 2-2. And AJ saying, was that a strike? I mean, that ball had crazy movement on it, down and away from him.
96 two-seamer. Let me just run this away from you.
Swing and a miss. Pierzynski, a tough guy to strike out, and he has struck out twice tonight.
And we're going to see Justin Verlander's arm slot here, how consistent it is with all three pitches. Here's the first pitch, fastball 96. Here comes a changeup, down and in, and here comes a breaking ball. All in one at bat, all same arm slot. He hits all quadrants. He changes speeds. Again, you can try to come up with a lot of adjectives or superlatives because he's all of it.
Not only is 80 straight games with 100 or more pitches the longest active streak in baseball, it's more than twice as long as anybody else has had. Here's Alexi Ramirez.
Oh. You okay? And I'm sure that's something Justin's very proud of, as he should be. I mean, that means he's taking the ball and he's throwing deep into games every time out.
In the air to right field. 2 down. Let's go down to Buster Olney. Something was happening down on the field, Buster. What was it?
Yeah, that's right. After that A.J. Pierzynski strikeout, he began talking to either Gerald Laird or to Justin Verlander as he walked back to the dugout. And as he got close to the dugout, Laird turned and waved his hand at him like, get back to the dugout. I think there's probably going to be some more chirping going on as we go forward.
Well, it looks there like A.J. is saying what, as if maybe Verlander was staring at him and he was trying to figure out what it was. But you got two highly competitive guys there in Verlander and Pierzynski.
I think what happened was the first pitch, A.J. squared the bunt, like to fake a bunt.
Right.
And I don't know if Verlander took too kindly to that for some reason, but when he struck him out, Verlander was the first one to say something. He walked a couple steps off the mound. He said something to A.J. And, of course, A.J., being A.J., he responded with a what or whatever. And then Laird stepped in front and diffused the whole situation. But, you know, that's a reputation thing with A.J. that he has that bad reputation of starting stuff. He had nothing to do with that one.
By the way, we showed you that Verlander's now thrown 100 or more pitches in 80 straight starts. Since 1990, the next longest streak was Randy Johnson in the late 90s, 38 games in a row with 100 pitches. Verlander's at 80. Two and two.
Velocity's going up.
That last pitch, 98 on our radar gun, 99 on the gun here at Comerica.
And he's sitting at 106 pitches. If he gets out of this inning around 110, most managers, it's an easy decision. You take your starter out. I have no doubt that he'll come back out and pitch the eighth.
I mean, if you're a sixth inning guy for the Detroit when he pitches, you just stay in the clubhouse.
Just off the outside corner. And 42,000 plus grown as one here in Detroit.
I'll tell you what, I think Adrian Johnson's had a really good game behind the plate tonight. We have seen very little, if anything, from both sides on his plate tonight.
4-1 Tigers, 7th inning. 2 out, 1 on. Orlando Hudson, the batter. A base hit and a strikeout. With most pitchers, you would say, well, he's at 109. This is last inning, or this is last batter. But Justin Verlander got a different set of rules, and he's earned them.
Well, that would mean there'd be someone up in the bullpen.
And there's nothing going on.
The only thing they're getting up for is to get more seeds.
Chris Sale frustrated after that last half inning, giving up the 3-run home run to Delmon Young that has broken the tie. The Tigers looking to sweep and tie for the division lead. Verlander with 9 strikeouts on the night. Wow. So much movement on that breaking ball. It gets away. Laird can't find it. Flowers headed for third. Takes 2 bases on the wild pitch. Got to be a helpless feeling as a catcher.
And Prince Fielder came all the way in and just about got there ahead of Laird.
Hudson started and somehow managed to check the swing on that letter high fastball.
And he's got so many ways to go right now. It's a helpless feeling as a hitter.
Working from the windup with a runner at third. Roller to first, inning over. 7 strong for Verlander. Fans on their feet in Detroit.
September. This is the month that decides everything. Every home run.
Diaz takes Verlander deep to begin the game.
Every K.
He wants that one back, but he won't get it.
Will help decide who goes on and who goes home. This is September.
And the stakes are getting higher and higher as we move into September. The Tigers leading the White Sox 4-1 as we take a look at our game track. Brought to you by Ram. Chris Sale giving up a run in the 5th and then the big 3-run home run to Delmon Young in the 6th. Justin Verlander, 7 innings, 9 strikeouts, going bottom 7 at Comerica. The Tigers looking to sweep and move into a tie for the American League Central Division lead with the White Sox. Robin Ventura to the bullpen for right-hander Nate Jones. And this guy can bring it. That first pitch was 100 miles an hour, part of a White Sox bullpen that has a lot of youth, but a lot of quality arms.
How happy you'd be sitting up here when they bring in a middle reliever to throw 100. No thanks.
Gerald Laird, the batter.
Oh. And what I was just going to say, his changeup is so good. He's actually tougher versus left-handed hitters because of that changeup.
Retirement ain't so bad, is it? Just saying.
I think throughout the game of baseball, I think pitchers, I think there's a resurgence. Everywhere you go, you see these big arms.
Out to second. One down. Laird making it close at first. MLB.TV, baseball everywhere. Watch almost 100 out-of-market games live per week on your favorite devices. Visit MLB.TV for details. With Terry Francona, John Kruk sitting in for Oral Hershiser this week, and Buster Olney, I'm Dan Schulman. Sunday Night Baseball here on ESPN2 tonight. We're in the bottom of the 7th. A huge game in the American League Central, and a 4-1 lead for the Tigers. Tigers home to the Indians tomorrow. White Sox go home and will start a series with the Twins. These two teams will play 4 in Chicago next week. Other than that, their schedules, or including that, their schedules very similar the rest of the way.
Gerald Laird hit that ground ball to second that looked like an easy out, and the effort he gave, you knew when he got back to the dugout, Jim Leland was going to be there with the pat on the back, and he was. As a manager, you appreciate guys that try to play the game that way.
And the thing you like about it, too, is this is a guy that plays once a week, maybe twice a week at the most, and he's giving you that effort. A lot of guys, a veteran like Laird, might give you 75%, 60% running down the line on a routine grounder, but that just shows you that this team's all in.
Breaking ball slips out of his hand, ball 3. Well, there are a lot of expectations on this Tiger team. In the offseason, of course, the signing of Prince Fielder, the trade with the Marlins this year, picking up Sanchez and Infante, the payroll, the sellouts. This team is all in. This team is built to win. They're flawed, but they're built to win. Now they're expected, maybe is a better way to say it, they're expected to win now.
But I think every team, to a certain extent, has some flaws this year. And I think Detroit, if they can get to the finishing line, they can be as dangerous as anybody.
A rope into center, a base hit for Jackson.
Because of their top 2 pitchers.
The Tigers a game back of the White Sox and currently 2.5 out of the second wild card spot in the American League. Oakland, Baltimore, Tampa Bay all won today. The Angels lost. You mentioned the top 2 pitchers, and we've talked about Detroit's subpar defense. With Verlander and Scherzer, the defense isn't as big of a problem because they're striking out so many guys.
And Verlander can pitch deep and on short rest, and with Scherzer behind him, you're not going to be throwing your 4th and 5th starters very much.
But it is a different game when Pfister and Porcello are in the game because they're contact guys, ground ball pitchers. Here's Infante, 1 for 3, singled and scored on the Young homer.
Fister's the guy, if he could get healthy and stay healthy so he can pitch like he did last year, would be a big turning point for me, because he's such a good pitcher. He just hasn't been able to stay out there enough to where he can be consistent with his pitches.
Runner goes, and it's fouled out of play.
Well, 2 springs ago, there's Benoit down there warming up, but 2 springs ago they had Jim Leland told me that he would put Verlander and Scherzer against any 2 in baseball as far as 1-2s, and then Scherzer had a poor year last year. That's why they went out and got Fister. Now Scherzer looks like he wants to step up and be that guy again, and you know, like you said, if Fister can go, you have 3 going. If they get in the playoffs, they have 3 strong going, pretty good.
Infante chases 2 down. Scherzer with 15 wins. He and Verlander, the only 2 pitchers in baseball with 200 or more strikeouts this year.
Got a chance last year during the playoffs to visit with Doug Fister. And you talk about a guy that gets it. I mean, he really understands what this game's about, respectful, and you pull for guys like that.
Begin to hear a bit of an MVP chant here in Detroit as Miguel Cabrera steps in, and he is certainly in the conversation.
I think part of the problem is people take it for granted because he does it every year.
His average year's an MVP year for most, but that's what you expect. Pencil me in for 330 and 35 or 40 and 120, 130.
He's only 29. He's
oh my gosh,
over 300 home runs. Right center field, and Rios is there to make the catch and end the inning. 7 in the books in Detroit. The Tigers lead 4-1. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball is presented by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moss. And in part by the Volkswagen Passat, 2012 Motor Trend Car of the Year. Beautiful Comerica Park, so much to do. And of course, they're enjoying the ball game here tonight as well. Beautiful night. Home team is winning. Justin Verlander pitching extremely well, working into the 8th inning. A win tonight is a sweep, and a sweep is a tie for the division lead with the White Sox. Verlander begins the inning facing Alejandro Diaz, who homered off him to begin the game. The next pitch, as you can see, will be number 115. Terry, if you're Jim Leyland, you got Benoit, terrific 8th inning guy, up in the bullpen. How do you decide how long you leave Verlander in?
I think Jim Leyland's probably told Verlander, you're on a short leash. Not necessarily one base runner, but he's not going to allow him to have a chance to lose this game. He's pitched his heart out. The pitch count's starting to creep up there. There's just no reason to do that.
Change up in for a strike. 2-2, and a lot tonight, Crucky, we've seen in hitter counts. Verlander throwing curveballs and changeups.
Diaz hit the home run off a fastball. Of course, the fastball was 90-91. Get me over. Let's start this game and have some fun. That's a 2-1 changeup with a 4-1 lead. That's just in the 8th. No, you can't do that.
In games this year, after Justin Verlander's gotten to 100 pitches, the opposition is hitting 131 against him. He defies everything you think you know about baseball.
Yes, he does. He's got another gear. And if you don't think he's in great shape, I mean, he must push himself so hard on his other days to be able to do this. Again, he's not throwing, he's pitching.
And a swing and a miss. Throw down to get him. Strikeout number 10 for Verlander. Matt Kemp, David Price, and Robinson Cano have visited the MLB Fan Cave this season. Check out all the player videos and watch exclusive music videos and interviews with your favorite performers and celebrities by visiting MLBFancave.com. Follow at MLB Fan Cave on Twitter and like the MLB Fan Cave on Facebook. 4th time this year, double-digit strikeouts. Here's Youkilis. Pops him up. Peralta gives way to Kelly, 2 down. Two quick outs. New baseball in play for Verlander here in the 8th inning. 121 pitches. The batter will be Wise. Doubled in the 1st, struck out in the 3rd, flied out in the 6th. Tigers lead 4-1, 4 outs away from tying for the division lead.
I know they won't do it. They won't send him out for the 9th for obvious reasons, but I have no doubt he could go back out and answer the call.
It must be fun just to sit there and think, well, maybe I'll just throw this now just to see what happens.
Number 11 for Verlander. bell. Comerica Park in Detroit. And the fans who have come here this weekend have seen some good baseball, and tonight they have seen a great performance from Justin Verlander. 8 innings, gave up a run in the first on the leadoff home run by Diaza. That is it. Verlander is still there, but he's already thrown over 120 pitches, and the closer, Jose Valverde, is now up in the Tiger pen. You would assume that it will be Valverde in the 9th inning, but as we have come to learn over the years, you can't assume anything when it comes to Justin Verlander. Prince Fielder smokes the ball into center field, a base hit. To lead off the bottom of the 8th off the new pitcher for the White Sox, left-hander Layson Septimo, a 27-year-old from the Dominican who has split his season between the disabled list, AAA, and the White Sox. Terry, in your opinion, Verlander done?
Yeah, when Jim Leland shook his hand, that's his way of saying, good night, big boy. You did your job.
And Verlander walked off and waved to the crowd. So that's pretty much a telling sign that he knew it was happening. Well, he knew it was coming, too.
Sticking around to watch the 9th. Big pat on the back from the skipper.
It's the hardest he was hit all day.
Kelly with a fly ball left center. 1 down. Kelly coming on defensively for Delmon Young, who had the big hit in this game, the 3-run homer in the bottom of the 6th. Quite a night.
I mean, it's in every sport. There's just some that are better than others. And he's better than most. Or all.
That's all for the left-hander Septimo. Brett Myers is going to be next up out of the White Sox pen. Tigers up 4-1, bottom 8. Back in Detroit, where the Tigers have a 4-1 lead on the White Sox. Detroit batting in the bottom of the 8th inning. The big hit by Delmon Young, but really the big story tonight, Tito, Justin Verlander.
Well, I mean, he did everything. We talked early in the game about how he's mixing up his pitches, and then later in the game, he starts doubling up on his pitches. It's 2 breaking balls in a row there. There's a fastball, follows it like another fastball, and then breaking ball, breaking ball. Crucky, I saw you just shaking your head.
Well, there's some pitchers you can get a pattern on. You know, in a certain count, this is the pitch you're going to get. And some you can even guess the location he's going to get because they get into a pattern. He never got into a pattern tonight on any one particular pitch, not location-wise or not what the pitch was itself. The 4 pitches he threw them all different times. Then when he did double up, one was better than the next. It wasn't fair.
8 innings, 11 strikeouts for Verlander. Johnny Peralta facing Brett Myers, the new pitcher for the White Sox, picked up in July from Houston, where Myers had 19 saves, adding some depth and some experience to the White Sox bullpen. Fielder at first, one out, as Peralta sends the ball a long way to center field, but Diaza back to make the catch. Out number 2. ACC rivals square off on ESPN tomorrow night when Georgia Tech takes on number 16 Virginia Tech. College football primetime presented by Russell Athletic. Tomorrow at 8 on ESPN and also available live on Watch ESPN. Getting to be a busy time of year in a hurry.
Fun time of year.
2 down, and here's Garcia, 1 for 3. 2 for 6 as a big leaguer. Got the call up on Friday. 3 for 7. Boy, and over the last 2 games, he didn't have an at-bat on Friday. The last 2 games, he's had some quality at-bats, not given an inch against big league pitching.
You could see how excited Jim Leland was just to watch him play. And when we asked him, how's he going to do? He said, I don't know. But he said, I'm going to have fun watching. And I know for managers or guys my age, Jim Leland was the gold standard. When you see him in that dugout just sitting there, there is a severe intensity going on.
What was the hardest thing your rookie year, your first day in the big leagues, is trying to be accepted by your veterans? When Miguel Cabrera, the best player, accepts you immediately, you become accepted by everyone else. He's basically being treated like a veteran already. And that's a hard stigma to break.
Brennan Boesch, a couple of strikeouts and a home run in this game off Chris Sale. The second home run he's hit off Sale this season.
If Brennan Boesch, the last month of the season, swings the bat like they thought he would, they are a completely different lineup.
2 on, 2 out. The Tigers looking for a little insurance. And Myers gets a call over the outside corner. Jose Valverde ready for the 9th inning. Konerko, Rios, and Pierzynski scheduled for the White Sox. Verlander 124 pitches through 8. Blocked by Flowers. You look at this ballpark, and this city, as everybody knows, has been hit hard economically in recent years. There are 42,000 people here, and I don't think very many at all have left here on this Sunday night.
You know what, Dan? And they have a good owner. Mike Ilitch puts his money where his mouth is, and he stays out of the baseball, but he really does. He's just a really good owner.
Dave Dombrowski, the GM, putting the team together. And it's ball 4 as Boesch will draw the walk, and that's going to load him up.
Crutchy, you've been around Brett Myers. Do you think this is difficult for him coming into a situation, not only out of the bullpen, because he did that in Houston, but he was a closer?
Yeah, the day he got traded, I called him. I said, what if they told you? Has Kenny Williams called you and said, are you going to be their closer? I know they just brought up Addison Reed. Or is Addison Reed going to stay closer? Are you going to assume the closer role? He said, I don't know. I don't care. He said, I just want to play on a winning team. I want to get a chance to pitch in the postseason again. I don't think this bothers him. I think what bothers him when I talked to him last Wednesday is the fact that he feels like he's let the White Sox down in the trade because he doesn't feel like he's done the job he's supposed to do.
0-2 on Gerald Laird.
Surprisingly, because it was a more mature Brett Myers.
But he likes to pitch.
Yes, he'll take the ball every day.
Out of play. Verlander still hanging out in the dugout. A job well done. 8 innings, 1 run, 11 strikeouts.
It's like an off day.
He looks fresh, right? Some guys come out of the game after 8. And
we were more sweating up here doing the open.
Popped up, and the inning is over. The Tigers leave them loaded. Time for the 9th inning. And in a save situation, the vast majority of the time here in Detroit, that means it's time for a whole lot of entertainment. Papa Grande, Jose Valverde, ready to come in. And this man has his routine and he has his rituals. And they love him. He can make a manager age a year or two in an inning, but you gotta love him. The Tigers lead 4-1 as we go to the 9th inning here at Comerica Park. An outstanding performance by Justin Verlander, and he is tonight's Chevrolet player of the game. 8 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 11 strikeouts, looking for win number 13. One big standing ovation, one big pat on the back from the skipper. And on to the 9th, Jose Valverde. 27 out of 31 in save situations this year, after going a perfect 49 of 49 a year ago.
And he doesn't pitch an inning, it's an event.
And a strike to Konerko. Konerko, Rios, and Pierzynski, 4, 5, and 6 coming up for the White Sox. The Tigers 3 outs away from moving into a tie with the White Sox atop the division.
They love him in their clubhouse.
Jim Leland says he's as popular with his teammates as anybody they've got. Soft liner, 1 down. More Major League action comes your way Tuesday night on ESPN. A doubleheader beginning at 7 Eastern time. It'll be the Yankees and the Rays, a game of extreme significance in the American League East and the overall American League playoff race. And then over to the National League for Game 2, the Dodgers hosting the Padres at 10 Eastern. Clayton Kershaw scheduled to pitch in that game Tuesday night for LA. Here's Rios 0 for 3. If you're the Tigers, you've seen Delmon Young drive in 8 runs in this weekend series. Scherzer pitched great yesterday, and Verlander pitched great here tonight. First weekend in the big leagues for Garcia, the rookie outfielder, and he's had 3 hits. Brennan Boesch coming to life. A lot of good signs over the weekend for Detroit.
You're right.
A whole lot of good signs, but can they carry it through?
Yeah.
That's the big thing. Can they get on a consistent run and try to not run away with this division, but put some space in between them and the White Sox?
Crucky, you're exactly right. If things run true to form, Chicago will go home and win, and Detroit will stay here and lose.
Fly ball to right field. 2 down.
Neither team has been able to sustain the winning. Right when you think they're going to get hot, they go the other direction.
And the crowd getting on Pierzynski. A little verbal exchange between Pierzynski, Verlander, and Laird a couple of innings ago. The White Sox down to their final out, on the verge of losing their 6th in their last 7 and losing their lead in the division. And a base hit into right field.
I kind of like that.
You know what? He backs it up.
That's AJ. That's just AJ. Probably one of the most hated men, if not the most hated man in baseball by fans of the other team. But, you know, he did nothing tonight. He absolutely did nothing. Verlander was the first one to say something to him. And, yeah, tip your hat. I would.
And he'll leave for a pinch runner. Jose Lopez is into the game. So a man on with 2 down, and to the plate comes Alexi Ramirez. If he can get on somehow, then the White Sox would get the tying run to the plate. Ramirez 0 for 3. Fielder playing behind the runner. 0-1.
And that's one part of the game that's changed dramatically. You're down 3. You're not taking a strike. I know when I played it was automatic. Unless you were the tying run and you had home run power, you were taking a strike. You know, now it's, you know, go up there and hack away. And to be honest with you, I like it this way. You're not giving up a free strike, but you better swing at a strike.
Off the glove of Cabrera into left field. Lopez comes around to third. Ramirez with a base hit, and the tying run will come to the plate. And a pinch hitter coming up, a September call-up, a guy we were talking about before the game. Dan Johnson will be the batter. He's been with Oakland. He's been with Tampa Bay. He hit a home run on the last day of the season last year for the Rays to beat the Yankees. He has had some big hits in his career.
And one of the most unlikely pinch hitters, struggling so badly at the end of the season. He was surprised they put him into pinch hit, and he hit the home run.
I think he's partly responsible for me being an analyst.
Yeah, that's it.
In an indirect way, you make a point.
Him and 29 other teams.
He's got some power. And he takes a strike. Miguel Cabrera was wincing after leaping for that ball that grazed off his glove. Remember, he came into the game with a sore right ankle, and now repeatedly he's grabbing at his hip. Needless to say, they need him healthy the way he's been swinging the bat all year long. Base hit into right field for Johnson. Lopez will score. Ramirez around to third. 4-2.
And they'll pinch run for Johnson here. I gotta believe they will.
And it's Jordan Danks coming out to run for Johnson. Now remember, Adam Dunn, not in the starting lineup, has a mild rib cage situation day to day, and Robin Ventura does not want to use him. So Dunn on the bench, unavailable. Orlando Hudson is going to be the batter for the White Sox. Well, we went into this game talking about how big it was, and it is. A possible tie for the division lead. Sale, Verlander lived up to expectations for a while. Delmon Young, the big home run. It's early September. It kind of feels like the last weekend of the regular season, the way this game's been played.
It's exciting. I was part of that last game of the season last year with Tampa and the Yankees, and this crowd has made it that way. It's been exciting.
It's a fun game to be a part of. And the atmosphere, the pitchers, and you're right. We still got baseball left.
The White Sox a game up. The Tigers an out away from sweeping and moving into a tie for the division lead. Ramirez at third, the tying run. Danks at first. 2 down for Hudson. And a strike. We mentioned when Valverde was on his way in, he doesn't often make it easy on Jim Leyland, but generally he gets the job done. Got the first 2 outs tonight. 3 consecutive hits since. To center field. Jackson is there, and the Tigers win it. Delmon Young with a big home run. Jose Valverde with save at number 28 on a ball that just for a moment you thought maybe Jackson might have misread it just a little bit, but he's got the wheels to go back and get it. Valverde is pumped. And the Tigers sweep the series, and we've got a tie atop the American League Central with 4 weeks to go in the regular season. White Sox and Tigers all tied up. Don't forget they'll play a 4-game series next week in Chicago. What a fun game to watch. What a good weekend if you're a Tiger fan as they sweep their rivals from Chicago. Justin Verlander, the big story tonight. 8 strong innings with 11 strikeouts. Picks up win number 13 as the Tigers beat the White Sox by a score of 4-2. Coming up next here on ESPN2 Sports Center. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For John Kruk, Terry Francona, Buster Olney, and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Dan Schulman saying thanks for watching and so long from Detroit.